Shall we begin?
Let's get started. Hey, Mom, can I have $20?
I gave you $20 yesterday. Futures Academy in Victoria is a different kind of school. We use the individually designed educational achievement plan to build a program for your child based on their needs, strengths, and struggles. If your child has had trouble in public school, perhaps developed anxiety or fallen behind in grade levels and achievement, give us a call. Our number is 361-433-0322. You can also check us out on the web at futuresacademyvic.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Hello.
Hello.
We are back. Cheyenne and I are actually together in real life today.
Last week we weren't. I don't know if y'all could tell. But, last week we recorded on the phone. Today we're in my car running some errands, doing some things. And this is what you get. So
first, I kind of want to tell them a little bit about what we're doing.
I do too. Because we're so
excited. Okay. Do you want to start?
Yes. Okay. So a couple months ago, I got an idea for a parent conference. As a first-time mom, there were so many things that I just was learning, and it felt like I was constantly Googling things, looking things up, calling my mom, calling my mother-in-law, and I was wishing that there was all this information in one place. And also, I see a lot of moms on Facebook and groups that I'm in struggling with other issues.
And the same issues.
And the same
issues over and over.
Yes. Same things again and again. Everybody has the same problems with parenting. It's hard. We're all having the same struggles no matter how much money we make, where we live, all those things.
Or even how old your kids are. Because me having a school that's kids 5th through 12th grade, I see what happens 10 and 15 years later, past your point, where still first-time parents or parents who, this child has an issue that my other children didn't have, it's a whole new ball game for them, too.
Well, and it wasn't that long ago that I was a teenager. It was 10, 12 years ago.
Don't remind me.
Hey, we're good
I still bear scars. Which is what we're trying to avoid with this. So tell them what we're doing.
Okay, so we're putting together a parent conference that will have speakers with all different topics ranging from child development at every age to how to talk to your teens about certain things to I can't pay my rent this month and I need help. Those are the kind of things that we're going to do. We're going to have speakers, resource booths, so that once you learn about all the information, you can go talk to someone today, fill out the forms you need, get the help, get the advice, set the appointments, whatever you can find help for that day. We want it all in one place.
Right. Making a contact with a real person at that organization to get you the answers that you need. And we really want to focus on the normal stuff too, but also the hard-hitting stuff, like what happens if you are faced with a sexual assault in your family? Some things that are a little less intimidating, like puberty. If you're a single dad and you've got a daughter going through puberty, you probably got some questions. You may have some people you want to talk to.
So we're putting that together. We're hoping March of 2025. And
no, we're not hoping.
Oh,
it's done.
It's set. Okay. We said that last week.
Yes.
Okay.
March 1st, 2025 is the event. It is going to be at the University of Houston, Victoria in their North building. I know that going on to the UHV campus can be a little intimidating if you're not familiar with it, but there will be signs. You will hear a lot more about it between now and then. And we're really excited about that.
So be on the lookout for the Instagram page and the Facebook page. Brace for Impact.
Yes.
And I want to tell y'all a little bit too about that term. We did have a sexual assault happen in our family when I was growing up, and it was hard on the whole family. We all had struggles.
The world changes when that becomes dinner conversation.
Yeah, exactly. And a phrase, this happens to you and I a lot, a phrase that came to us a lot during that time was brace for the impact. The hard things when it comes to dealing with this.
For the next thing that's coming.
Is hard. And it was hard. It was hard to go about justice. Dealing with my emotions for years after that was a big hit too. And so that term has always stuck with us, and now it applies even more. The hard things are coming, If y'all follow me on Facebook, you know that my toddler she's sweet.
Perfect.
She is sweet. She is sweet. But my gosh, she's fast and she's curious.
Oh gosh,
and she's sassy. So, and the next thing is coming. The next hard thing is coming. It doesn't stop. So,
Yeah, it's just not long before she cuts her hair off or sticks a rock in her nose or
Get this.
paints a wall with something you can't wash off.
Get this. She has little play scissors at my mother-in-law's house, and they were pretending to cut hair last night.
Oh, no.
And I said, we don't pretend to cut hair. And they said, well, it's scissors. And I said, she should not know that scissors do that to your hair.
Right. They do that to paper.
I said, I'm avoiding a toddler salon mishap. So, I need y'all to not even pretend to do that.
We are not going to have a speaker on kids who cut their hair, by the way. You're just going to have to get that from something else.
Unless y'all want it, I'll do it.
That's right. If there's public demand, we'll do it. Speaking of that, if there's a topic that you are interested in, or if you know somebody who would like to be a presenter or a vendor at this event, or if you have a business and would like to sponsor us, please contact us. You can reach out to me at Futures Academy, or you can reach out to Cheyenne, and all of her information is published on all of our literature. So however you know to get in touch with us, shoot us a text, shoot us a DM, or whatever you got, call us, and we would love to hear what you have to say.
All right, let's get into the episode.
I forgot what we're talking about at this point. It's probably because I'm squished into this car and my brain can't breathe.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I can't help it if you and your husband are short.
He actually gets in my car and is annoyed too. He's like, you're actually going to die if you get in a wreck. You're going to squish.
I think you would be happier if you could sit on the dash and steer behind you. Like, you want to be on the road to see.
Mom, I can't see the hood of my car right now. So I can't believe I'm driving at all.
We're going to need to do a thing on short girl problems because that's one of them.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is, this actually isn't the episode that we had planned, but with this event coming, we kind of got to talking about this and said, okay, stop talking, let's record. So, Mom, we were talking about how, because you got married young and were married to the same person for a long time, and then he passed away, and now you're in another committed relationship.
Right.
For the most part, you've had good relationships.
Yeah, even dating before Dad, or a couple of people, and I didn't date much. I went out a few times with other people. I didn't have any bad situations. I did have the one guy that was drunk, and it was too bad because I liked him. We'd sit on the phone and just talk for 2 hours, but he's getting drunk, and
well, then you married
I don't
him
need
for
that.
20 years. No,
babe, that was.
Yeah, the guy that you saw briefly after Dad was gone.
Right, but even then, it wasn't a bad relationship. I was just like, you're not really the one for me.
Not healthy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started to think about, you haven't experienced some of the relationship struggles that I have. And I'm also a relationship person. I've been in all my relationships are long-term relationships for the most part. And if they're not, they're very serious, very fast. And that's kind of just who I am anyways. I've said before that I adopt my friends quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of that way in relationships too. But I have found myself in relationships that I would call abusive, that are emotionally abusive, verbally abusive, whatever. Lots of manipulation, things like that. And so I asked you earlier, how do I keep that from happening to my daughter?
That was a red light.
Shh. Don't embarrass me.
You said record in the car.
It was yellow when I turned.
How do you keep those things from happening to your daughter?
Yes, because I had a mother that loved me. I knew my father loved me. I knew that I was a child of God and things like, I knew that I was precious.
All the things that they tell you to avoid those situations, you had that.
Yes.
You didn't have daddy issues or... I don't think you had a super oppressive mom. I guess I was at times or whatever, and hard on y'all maybe more than I should have been.
I think me more than, but I was the first.
It's also important to say that you didn't come from an abusive family. You didn't see that in your home either.
Yeah.
That was not acceptable. Yeah.
And I still found myself in that. And you had kind of mentioned, well, you have to create a safe place for your child to come to you with those things. I had that too. So
why didn't you? And if you don't mind, the one guy that you dated in Van for so long that I know now was physically abusive. What was the first time? Do you remember the first time where you were like, oh my gosh, that just happened? And also note that she was a teenager at the time, upper teenager.
I was about 15, 16 when we started dating. And we were long distance for a long time. I'll tell you this. The first time he ever physically hurt me, I was 19. I'd already moved up there. Mm-hmm. But I was not shocked when it happened.
Because it had come close before?
No, but just because I knew the only reason he hadn't before is because he couldn't. He wasn't close enough to me all the time.
Ah, okay.
We were long distance, and so... And what, the weekend he was down here with me while I'm in high school and he's staying at my parents' house, he's not gonna...
Well, yeah.
And that was when he was always the best, was when... And that's probably it. That was probably it, was a fear that I wouldn't be believed, or I would be wrong, or not deserving. Because that sounds like so... Like, I should know I didn't deserve it. And I know that, but...
Was there a part of you, though, that said, okay, I really kind of pushed him? Like, if I had shut my mouth, he wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you were so wrong about that.
Yeah.
And you didn't know.
I didn't know. And, you know, you'll remember this. When we first started dating, he was very love-bomby.
Oh, my gosh, yes. And the whole time you were apart, he texted you every single morning, good morning.
Uh-huh.
Even if you were dating other people or something, he still did it every morning.
And he was very long messages, sweet messages, all the sweetest things you could say. And I'm 14, 15 years old. Like,
and he was too. He was like a year older.
He was too, but...
Don't be thinking he was like 4 years older. And
no, he was a year older than me. But at the time, I even remember being like, oh my gosh, I'm stressed by this. Like...
So did it continue? Did it become a normal thing? Was he apologetic? I guess I want to know why didn't you stop the relationship then?
Oh, because if I did stop the relationship, it was the same thing. Calling me, blowing up my phone. I mean, you remember when we did break up and I moved back home, a couple months later I was on a date with the next boyfriend that I dated for a long time. And while we were out of town on a date, that ex called me 128 times that day.
Oh my God.
And
that alone is a psychological impact.
We'll leave some things out, but
yeah.
Just because, you know, I'm not trying to ruin anybody's life, but it's just, how do you, because your reaction now, and I'm grown, it was 10 years ago. How do I tell you that when I'm 19, 15, 16?
So, and I hate this, and I know you know this, and I hope that if you found yourself in that relationship today, you would tell me, even though you're married and have a child and everything else, because we are closer than we were at the time. I think there is something very real about feeling like it was your fault no matter what. Whether it's I pushed him too far in that moment, or I should have seen it coming, or we should have broken up a long time ago, there is a thing that says, I've gotten myself in this mess. And that's hard to tell anybody.
And that is really a big part of it. And I think every woman who has an abusive relationship, a hard relationship, one that it just isn't right, feels that way, because eventually I did feel like, well, we've been together for 4 years. I didn't go to college because I was going to be with him. And I mean, I almost married him. Like, right. You know? And there is a part of it going, there's already so much baggage, I can't get out of this. And then you've also got that person in your ear going, you don't deserve anybody. Nobody will love you like I do.
Right.
Knowing that those things aren't true. And, you know, I'm sure once you learn that wasn't a healthy relationship, were you very shocked just because no way I would deal with that? Because I look back on myself and feel that way. How did I put up with that? Because right now, my husband's getting an ass whooping if he treats me like that.
Yeah, but you've already caught him. He's forever. You know, maybe not the first time because you were young, but I want to say that when this happens once, and the same is true for whatever reason about sexual assault, that when it happens once, it tends to happen again. And I don't know if people prey on the same type of victim over and over. Like you have a need to please, and you're the type of partner who wants to be traditional, and I'm going to fix your plate, and I'm going to be not subservient, but
submissive in a way.
And so those kind of people prey on personalities like yours.
I think so, because the next relationship that I found myself in that way, that was similar in nature, I do think he intentionally chose me because someone has done it to me before.
Right.
You know?
Did he know that?
Yes. Because him and I were friends before we would.
Oh yeah, so
dated. But still, even as a friend, immediately love bomb me.
Wow.
And you saw that from the beginning.
How do we not get leery of that? I don't think I've ever had that from anybody.
Well, so then I have started to think to myself, because my first relationship was that way, is that what I want now? Is that my MO?
Is there some payoff for it that you're looking for?
Well, is that what my brain decided this is what a relationship is? This is what love is? This is what you want? This is how you want to be treated?
Gosh, I hope not.
I hope not too, but so I'm trying to stop my daughter from this pattern.
Right.
You know?
Okay, so what are the solutions here? And I'm not an expert. I mean, I know a lot of teenagers, and so I kind of have some ideas. Part of it is having a safe place and a non-judgmental place, because I can totally see me saying, Cheyenne, why are you still going out with him if he's doing this to you? Instead of coming from a place that was all compassion and kind, and you know what, we're going to get you home right now and let's stop this, and
well, it's hard
we'll take
to do
care
that,
of it.
especially when you know me. You're not telling me to do anything.
Right?
You have told me before I couldn't make you brush your hair.
No.
You know? So that's part of it too.
We did know, and you've talked about this before being one of the best things that we ever did for you, but we really did make you miserable before you came home, and we did it on purpose because you were refusing to come home. It was not healthy for you, and we knew it was not healthy for you. We knew without knowing the details that relationship had gone sour and you didn't need to be there anymore, and we cut you off.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that I wouldn't answer any of your questions and made you Google before you called me, we cut off your payments. I wasn't paying for your phone anymore. If you want a phone, pay for it. You want to pay for that car, you pay for it.
Well, and that was about the time I got in trouble with my car insurance too. I was
Yes.
getting a bunch of speeding tickets.
Which we didn't. Yeah, so some people might see it as abusive today. We felt like it was tough love. That one way or another, you're coming home. And if we have to break you a little to get you to come home so you can heal, then that's what we're going to do. And we did.
And it really was the best thing for me. I think I still, like I said, there's a lot of things I'm going to be talking about in therapy when you're gone today. And that's probably one of them, was that little spout of 6 months. But I did come home and I found a job that I fell in love with. I met some of my best friends there, you know?
Yeah.
At that job, and look where I am now. You know, that very much is it. And maybe that's it. Do I just need to keep on her and to just make sure, you know?
You also raise her strong, and maybe Dad and I didn't talk about that because we were high school sweethearts and had never been in that kind of relationship, either one of us, that we didn't know to tell you, you are worthy and this is never allowed. And even though you may have known it in passing from PSAs and talks at school and different stuff like that, you didn't know from the people who meant the most.
Yeah.
You know, for that you are worth more than that to us. And it is okay to say, don't touch me like that. I don't appreciate that. That's uncomfortable. Or I got to be somewhere else right now because I don't trust you, or whatever. And there are resources, not just family, but you have legal resources and lots of support groups and women's groups and things that can help if you don't have anybody. Mm-hmm. Not everybody has parents to go home to like we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so, and like, how do other moms deal with that when, like I said, you've never, sorry.
Whack the phone.
When you haven't struggled with that, you know? And I almost feel like I'll kind of be up in her business about every boyfriend she has because mama knows.
True, but if you're too oppressive, she's going to lie and hide things and everything else like you did. And like we all did. I did too. My parents weren't oppressive. That's just part of being a teenager. You're learning where the boundaries are. I get that.
Yeah.
But to do things that are unhealthy, you have to model health and show health and talk about health. And it's not just that. You're battling the whole world. You're battling the whole internet and friend groups and everything else at a time when you're losing control of your kid. That those things become valuable to them, and you've got to have implanted that already.
And I think nurture it even harder. There's definitely between 12 and 16, you've got to be...
You do have to be on top of everything.
Because otherwise, when they turn 16, and if you haven't kept that relationship strong, intense, whatever you want to call it, I think that's where they fall off. I think that's kind of what happened to Sheridan.
Because we didn't stay close.
Yeah, and not intentional, but I had a trauma a couple years before. And I was still
And she
dealing with
kind
a
of got
lot.
lost, yeah.
And I mean, it's nobody's fault. It's nobody's intention. You did the best with what you could at the time. You know, it's part of it. It's part of parenting. It
Right.
is. But
That's true. And also, I now know from the book I read recently, Sheridan also basically hit puberty at a time when cell phones were blowing up, and it changed the world. The world over, literally worldwide, mental health dropped for girls as soon as smartphones were available, and boys within a couple of years thereafter. I read a book called The Anxious Generation. Highly, highly recommend. It was very good. But it's alarming, and I'm like more aware of my own internet activity and stuff now because I read that. But one of the things it talked about was there is a time when you are the greatest thing in the world to your child. You are absolutely River's best friend. There's nobody on earth that compares to you.
yeah,
But it's developmentally appropriate for her at some point to go, it's time for somebody else to be important. Mom's values and dad's values are a little less important than they used to be. You're competing with a lot. So how do you manage that when they get to that age? Well, I don't know. That's why we're having a conference.
that's why we're going to find all the
We're asking
experts.
people who know more than us.
Exactly. All right. Well, we're about to get out and run some more errands, so I think that was a pretty good episode. We didn't leave a whole lot of room for ads in there for Chris, so.
No, we didn't. I guess he'll figure it out. But you already know about Futures Academy. You know that we have the idea plan, that we put a plan together for your child to make sure that they are prepared to graduate and move on to whatever is next for them, whether that be work or trade school or college or whatever you need. And, if you're interested in sponsoring our program too, we'd love to hear from you.
Awesome. We'll see y'all next week. Don't
All
forget
right.
to like, subscribe everywhere you listen. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, small business owners, thanks for listening to our podcast. Can we have $20? That will get you a 30-second commercial on our podcast, along with a mention in our post and a link in our show notes. If you're interested, give Cheyenne a call at 361-550-2325. Thanks for listening.